LA Theatre Works presents Disgraced by Ayad Akhtar, directed by Brian Kite. Amir has left his Pakistani heritage behind in an attempt to fit in at his corporate law firm. But his wife doesn't share his negative feelings about Islam. She's encouraged Amir to help with the case of a controversial imam. When they throw a dinner party for Amir's colleague Jory and her husband Isaac, the hard truths revealed lead to the unraveling of their carefully constructed lives. The play received the 2013 Pulitzer Prize for Drama. And now, Disgraced, produced by LA Theatre Works.
You sure you don't want me to put my pants on?
I only need you from the waist up.
I still think this is a little strange.
Yeah?
That you want to paint me after seeing a painting of a slave.
Juan de Pareja was Velázquez's assistant, honey, and a painter in his own right.
And his slave.
Until Velázquez freed him.
No idea what that has to do with what happened last night.
A man, a waiter, looking at you.
Looking at us.
Not seeing you. Not seeing who you really are. Not until you started to deal with him and the skill with which you did that.
It's not the first time.
You made him see that gap between what he was assuming about you and what you really are.
The guy's a racist. So what?
So it got me thinking about the Velázquez painting and how people must have reacted when they first saw it. They think they're looking at a picture of a Moor, an assistant.
A slave.
Fine, a slave. That painting has more nuance, complexity, life than his paintings of kings and queens, and God knows how many of those Velázquez did. Anyway, I don't know what you're so worried about. It's not like anybody's going to see this.
Baby! Jerry Saltz loved your last show. That review
Jerry Saltz liked it. He didn't love it. It didn't sell.
Selling's not everything.
Selling's not everything. You really believe that?
I have to get this.
Fine, just stay where you are.
You enjoying your Pop-Tarts? I don't give a fuck that it's Saturday morning. You are paid 6 figures to return my calls. Paragraph 4, subsection 3, last sentence. Why are those 3 words still in there? You missed that. No. What actually happened is I told you to fix it and you didn't. Well, then behave like it, fucking career paralegal.
Wow.
I don't catch his little fuck up, cost the client $850,000.
It's actually kind of hot.
Is it? What's his name again?
Juan de Pareja.
It's a little fucked up. Give me that at least.
I happen to know you like it a little fucked up.
That's Mort. I have to get it.
Fine, you're done. Do you want more coffee?
Yeah. Hey, Mort. Good. You? Yeah, contract's done. We'll have it for them first thing on Monday. I spoke to Paolo. Seller's remorse. But it's a moot point. His board is going to vote against him. I'm going to keep feeding him the line on litigation. If he doesn't play ball, we are going to rip his guts out. So you should expect a call from him after I'm through with him. Good cop, bad cop. Yeah, she's right here. Mort says hi.
Tell him hi.
She says hi. We have plans for Labor Day, Mort. Don't worry about it. Okay, you too. Enjoy the weekend. Bye-bye.
Hamptons?
Em, we have got that thing in Bucks County.
I know.
Jory and Isaac.
It's got me a little freaked out.
It has taken forever to make that happen.
Isaac's a big deal.
And he's going to love your work.
How is Mort?
Obsessed with the idea that meditation is going to lower his cholesterol.
I haven't seen him in ages.
I barely see him. He hardly comes in. I mean, basically, I'm doing his job. Not that I mind.
He loves you.
He depends on me.
He spent I don't know how much on that birthday present for you.
Couple of grand at least.
Excuse me.
Honey, I really am pretty much doing his job.
So he gets you a book or a bottle of scotch or he takes you to dinner. Why did he get you that statue of Shiva? He doesn't think you're Hindu, does he?
May have mentioned something once. You do realize I am going to end up with my name on that firm?
Leibowitz, Bernstein, Harris, and Kapoor.
My mother will roll over in her grave.
Your mother would be proud.
Well, it's not the family name, so she might not care seeing it alongside all those Jewish ones, but proud? My mother would not be.
That'll be Abe.
Abe?
Your nephew?
Right, Abe.
Yes. Send him up.
Abe Jensen. I will never get used to that. From Hussein Malik, he goes to Abe Jensen. Can't take it seriously.
I don't like what's happening.
Oh, you're not going to let this thing go, are you?
Somebody's got to do something about it.
I went to see that imam in prison. What more do you two want?
Please, just talk to him.
Come in, Hussein.
Uncle,
What?
could you just call me Abe?
I've known you your entire life as Hussein. I am not going to start calling you Abe now.
Hi, Abe.
Hi, Aunt Emily. See? How hard can it be?
Abe Jensen? Really?
You know how much easier things are for me since I changed my name? It's in the Quran. It says you could hide your religion if you have to. It's called Taqi.
I am not talking about the Quran. I am talking about being called Abe Jensen. Just lay off it with me and your folks, at least.
It's gotta be one thing or the other. I can't be all mixed up.
You changed your name, too.
Yeah, you were lucky. You didn't even have to change your first name. Amir could be Christian, Jewish. Plus, you were born here. It's different.
You want something, sweetie? Coffee, juice?
Nah, I'm good.
So, what's up?
I'll let you two gentlemen talk.
No need. Everybody knows you're in on this. So you've been calling her too?
You weren't calling me back.
Why are we still talking about this? I am a corporate lawyer in mergers and
Who
acquisitions.
started in the public
That
defenders.
was years ago.
Imam Fareed didn't do anything.
That guy should have been more careful.
Every church in the country collects money. It's how they keep their doors open. We're entitled too. He's running a mosque.
It's the law. It's in the Constitution. Just because they're collecting money doesn't mean it's for Hamas.
What does any of this have to do with me?
It doesn't matter to you that an innocent man is in prison?
I don't know Patriot Act law. The guy's already got a legal team. Ken and Jerry. They are amazing lawyers.
They're not Muslim.
There we go.
What?
What I thought. I am not going to be part of a legal team just because your imam is a bigot.
He's not a bigot. He'd just be more comfortable if there was a Muslim on the case, too.
More comfortable if he wasn't being represented by a couple of Jews?
No, he liked you. He said you were a good man.
Well, he might not feel the same way if he knew how I really felt about his religion.
Well, that's just a phase.
Excuse me?
Well, that's what Mom said Grandma used to say about you. That you were working something out. That you were always such a good Muslim when you were a kid and that you had to go the other way for a while.
The other way?
Yeah.
Sit down, Hussein. I want to tell you something.
So just tell me.
No, I want you to sit down first. When was the first time you had a crush?
I thought you wanted to tell me something.
I'm getting to it. Your first crush.
5th grade. A girl named Naslima.
I was in 6th. Her name was Rivka.
I thought your first crush was Susan.
No, that was the first girl I ever kissed. Rivka was the first girl I ever got up in the morning thinking about. One time she went away to Disney World in the middle of the school year. I was abject. I didn't even want to go to school if I couldn't see her. She was a looker. Dark hair, dark eyes, dimples, perfect white skin.
Why didn't you ever tell me about her?
I didn't want you to hate my mother. Just wait. So, Rivka and I had gotten to the point where we were trading notes. And one day my mother found one of these notes. And of course it's signed Rivka. Rivka, my mother says. That's a Jewish name. Now, I wasn't clear on what exactly a Jew was at the time, other than they had stolen land from the Palestinians and something about how God hated them more than other people. But I couldn't imagine God hating this little girl. So I tell my mom, no, she's not Jewish, but she knew the name was Jewish. If I ever hear that name in this house again, Amir, I will break your bones. You will end up with a Jew over my dead body. And then she spat in my face.
My God.
That's so you don't ever forget. Next day, Rivka comes up to me in the hall with a note. Hi, Amir, she says, eyes sparkling. I look at her and I say, you have the name of a Jew. She smiles. Yes, that's because I'm Jewish, she says. Then I spit in her face.
That's horrible.
Man, that's effed up.
Right. So when my older sister goes on to you about this way and the other way, now you will have a better idea of the phase I'm really going through. It's called intelligence.
I'm surprised.
By what?
I don't know. Your mother was very open with me.
Well, let's just say I made it abundantly clear not to mess with you.
I thought she liked me.
Seemed like it to me.
She kissed me on her deathbed.
You won her over. You were open-hearted and gracious.
You make it sound like there was some whole battle going on.
Well?
About what?
White women have no self-respect. How can someone respect themselves if they think they have to take off their clothes to make people like them? They're whores.
What are you saying?
What Muslims around the world say about white women.
Not everyone says that.
Have you heard it or not?
Yeah.
And more than once?
Yes.
And from your mother?
Yeah.
I rest my case.
Imam Farid is not like that, and if you got to know him better, you'd realize he's actually your kind of guy. Once a month, we're doing a Friday prayer that's mixed.
And he let me sit in his mosque and sketch every day for weeks.
He's probably hoping you'll convert. Yeah, who knows? You probably will.
Don't be dismissive.
I don't understand what you see in it.
In Islam.
Yeah.
When we were in the mosque in Cordoba, remember that? The pillars and arches?
Those were great.
Remember what you said?
I'm sure you're going to remind me.
That it actually made you feel like praying.
That's kind of the point of a mosque, honey.
And that Matisse show that you loved so much, he got all of that from Mogul miniatures, carpets, Moroccan tiles.
Fine, I got it.
There's so much beauty and wisdom in the Islamic tradition, Amir.
But the thing is, it's not just beauty and wisdom.
What is?
Uncle, don't think of him as a Muslim if you don't want to. Think of him as a wise man who so many people depend on.
I hear you, Huss. I really do.
So come to the hearing next Thursday.
Next Thursday's a busy day at work.
You know, an old man who didn't do anything wrong is in prison.
And there's nothing I can do about it.
Honey.
I should probably head out.
No, I didn't mean to snap at you.
Yeah, just think about it.
Okay, fine.
Bye, sweetie.
Bye, Emily.
We good?
Yeah,
I love you.
I love you too.
His heart is in the right place, Amir.
I know.
Is yours?
What is that supposed to mean?
Why would you have worked in the public defenders if you didn't care about justice?
Public defenders have the hottest girlfriends.
I'd like to think there's some part of you that believed in what you were doing.
No, of course.
Oh, but when it comes to the imam, it's like you don't care. Like you don't think he's human.
You and Hussein wanted me to go see him, so I went. I went to go see that man in prison. And he spent an hour trying to get me to pray again. He's been in prison for 4 months, but all he can do is try to get...
So what? So a man who has nothing left but his dignity and his faith is still trying to be useful in the only way he knows how? I mean, if he feels he needs one of his own people around him...
I am not one of his own people.
You are, and in a way that is unique and can be helpful to him. Why can't you see that?
Can we stop talking about this?
We never talk about this. Not really. Amir.
What?
Think about it. Please. For me? The defendant, Imam Ali Farid, surrounded by a gauntlet of attorneys, struck a defiant tone. He spoke eloquently of the injustices he'd experienced and what he called an unconscionable lack of due process. Amir Kapoor of the New York law firm Leibowitz Bernstein Harris supported the imam, stating, "As far as anybody knows, there isn't a case. And if the Justice Department has one, it's time they started making it." I don't think you look like counsel for the defense.
That's because you know I'm not.
It's because it doesn't say you are.
The defendant, surrounded by a gauntlet of attorneys, struck a defiant tone. And then she quotes an attorney, me, implying that I am one of the gauntlet of attorneys. She doesn't quote another attorney.
But she says you're just supporting him.
I don't see a just. There is no just supporting him.
It's implied.
I think it reads very clearly that I was supporting his defiant tone, that I was supporting him being defiant.
Isn't he justified?
Oh, that's not my point, Em.
Maybe it should be.
The man is basically an alleged terrorist.
Even if it does make you look like
Oh,
counsel
so it
for
does.
I don't think it does. But even if it does, why is that a bad thing? What you did is right. You're standing up for due process.
It's just...
What?
Don't you think that people are going to think that... I mean, I guess they'll look at the name, and if they know anything at all, they will know the name isn't Muslim.
Amir, what's going on?
I clearly said I was not counsel for the defendant. And why did they have to mention the firm?
Baby, you did the right thing. I am so proud of you. So is Abe, and you'll see. Mort is going to be proud of you, too.
Mort's not the one I'm worried about.
Now, this is going to be good for you at work.
Good for me?
Look at Goldman Sachs. Jamie, he took all that philanthropy so seriously.
What does your douchebag banker ex-boyfriend have to do with this?
Isn't that how it works? Isn't that how all you guys cover up the fact that all anybody cares about in your world is making money?
Supported the imam.
Honey, look at me. Stop it. You are overthinking this.
Let me get this straight. Some waiter was a dick to me in a restaurant, and you want to make a painting. But if it's something that might actually affect my livelihood, you don't want to believe there could be a problem?
What does one thing have to do with the other? That's Isaac.
Right.
Yes. Send him up. Well, I mean, he's here.
Okay.
Do you want to keep talking about this?
No, I don't.
Honey, this is a big deal for me. I have a studio visit with a curator from the Whitney.
And who do you think made that happen?
Really?
I gotta go.
At least it's on page A14. I mean, nobody ever gets that far.
Don't. I know your mind is elsewhere. Left my phone in the bedroom.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Great.
Find it okay?
Quick ride up Madison couldn't be easier.
Amir is on his way out.
Isaac.
Hello, sir.
It's good to see you.
You too.
Oh, thanks again for a wonderful weekend in the country.
Would have been better with the Giants Redskins on, but...
Sacrifices we make.
Indeed.
Okay, guys.
I gotta run. I'll be late for work.
Well, you'll probably still get there before my wife.
Always do. See you later, Em.
It's gonna be fine. You'll see.
Is this a bad time?
No.
You sure?
Yeah. Can I get you some coffee, tea?
Sure. Coffee'd be great.
Milk? Sugar?
Black is fine. Constable's great, isn't he?
Love him.
You get up close to the surface of some of these paintings, and it's like looking at a Van Gogh. Only Constable was doing it 50 years earlier. You know, one of the things I love about going to Frieze every year, my little pilgrimage to see Constables at the Tate. You ever been?
Tate, yes. Frieze, no. But I am going this year.
You are?
I'm looking forward. I do love London.
It's great. Not New York, of course. But, thanks.
I mean, in its own way.
I'm partial. I've been in love with the city since first laying eyes on it from the ferry.
The ferry was your first view of the city?
I was 8. We drove in from the Midwest. It was my dad's idea to go through Staten Island and take the ferry. I remember it so well. Lower Manhattan, like a fort built of skyscrapers. It was breathtaking. And then we got off the ferry and my dad got mugged.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he was fine. So I spent a fair bit of time thinking about that discussion we had last weekend.
I still think you're wrong.
I think I might be wrong, too.
You read Jerry's review of my last show, didn't you?
Look, I don't always agree with Jerry, but he did say some interesting things. This is the piece you wanted me to see.
Here in the apartment? There are more at my studio uptown.
Huh. I have to admit, I'm compelled. It has presence. The figures emerging from the ground, the surface tending towards the convex. It's a bending of the picture plane, isn't it?
Exactly.
Which is why Jerry mentioned late Bernard in his review.
The mosaics in Andalusia are bending the picture plane 400 years before Bernard. That's what I was saying. The Muslims gave us Aristotle. Without their translations, we wouldn't have him. I mean, without the Arabs, we wouldn't even have visual perspective.
That's quite a statement.
And I can back it up. What?
I don't know. It's your earnestness, the lack of irony. I mean, it's unusual.
Irony's overrated.
Can't say I disagree with that.
But?
You're a white woman.
I am.
Using Islamic forms. You know what you're going to be accused of. Orientalism. It's inevitable. I mean, hell, you've even got the brown husband.
Fuck you, I think.
Good, because that's what they're going to say.
Yeah. Well, We've all gotten way too wrapped up in the optics. The way we talk about things, we've forgotten to look at things for what they really are. When you're in London, after the constables, you need to visit the Victoria and Albert. Room 42, the Islamic galleries. It'll change the way you see art.
Is that right?
Isaac, the Islamic tiling tradition is a doorway to the most extraordinary freedom, and which only comes through a kind of profound submission. In my case, it's not submission to Islam, of course, but to the formal language, the pattern, the repetition, and the quiet that this work requires of me is extraordinary.
Repetition, obliterating the ego. You sound like a post-war minimalist.
The Islamic tradition's been doing it for 1,000 years. Pardon me for thinking they may have a better handle on it. It's time we woke up. It's time we stopped paying lip service to Islam and Islamic art. We draw on the Greeks, the Romans, but Islam is a part of who we are too. God forbid anybody actually try to remind us of that. What?
No, this is good. This is good. You have more like this at the studio?
A lot more.
Is there a place I can grab a bite?
There's a great bodega on the way.
Change the way I see art, huh?
We'll see. Hey, honey.
Hey, where were you?
At Gourmet Garage, getting a few things for tonight.
Tonight?
Isaac and Jory. You didn't forget, did you?
That's why it smells so good in here.
I'm making pork tenderloin. And guess what? They had La Tour and that chorizo you love so much.
Great.
It can't be bad news, right? I'm coming to your house to eat your food and tell you you're not in the show. Nobody does that, right?
So you're in.
God, I hope.
Honey,
What?
it doesn't help.
Is it me?
No.
It's been 3 months, Amir.
You're counting?
I miss you.
I know.
So I'm assuming you forgot the wine?
Oh, I did. I'm sorry.
Amir?
Yeah, I said I'm sorry.
What's going on?
I had a meeting today with a couple of the partners, if you can call it that. I'm sitting in my office. I'm redlining a contract due at 6. Stephen walks in with Jack, sits down, asks me where my parents were born.
Pakistan.
I said India. That's what I put on the form when I was hired.
Why?
Technically, it was India when my dad was born.
Okay.
But the names of the cities you have listed are not in India, Stephen says. They're in Pakistan. My dad was born in 1946 when it was all one country before the British chopped it up into 2 countries in 1947. And your mother was born when? 1948. So, wasn't India then, was it? It was Pakistan. My clock is running and I am wasting time on a fucking history lesson. Turns out, Stephen is trying to ascertain if I misrepresented myself.
It sounds like you did.
It was all India. So there's a different name on it now. So what? He knew about my name change. Your birth name is not Kapoor, it's Abdullah. Why did you change it?
Didn't he already know?
I never told them.
They must have run a background check.
I changed my social when I changed my name.
You never told me that.
Yeah, it was before I met you.
But how did
honey,
you...
Honey, it is not that big of a deal. People do it all the time when they go through identity theft.
But you didn't go
I should have
through...
never gone to that hearing.
The hearing?
Yeah, Stephen has been digging around.
That was months ago. What does that have to do with anything?
A lot, honey. A lot.
Have you talked to Mort about this?
I can't get a hold of him.
Wait a second. What time is it?
10 past.
What are they doing here? I still have to get ready.
Go, get ready. I'll get it.
Yes? Send him up.
You gonna be okay?
I'll be fine.
Can you get the appetizers? They're in the fridge.
Go, get ready, honey. I got it. It's open.
Amir?
Come on in, Jor.
No bread tonight.
Maybe I'm old enough to have bread if I want to.
Then don't be complaining to me when your pants don't fit.
Khalid says it's okay once a week. Hey, good to see you again.
It's good to see you too.
Hey, Amir.
Hey, Jory. Didn't we say 7:30?
I was sure she said 7.
I told you.
Em's still getting ready.
No worries.
More time to drink, right?
Oh, we brought dessert.
Magnolia Bakery, thank you.
This should go in the fridge.
Go ahead.
I was at the Knicks game last night.
You were.
Aren't you a Knicks fan?
I'm sorry to say.
No dishonor in it.
No dishonor. Lots of pain.
I'm a Cubs fan. Don't get me started on pain.
Oh, the Bart man.
I mean, I didn't think he should be killed.
Killed?
But I had friends.
Who's the Bart man?
Honey.
The fan who stole a ball out of a Cubs outfielder's hand.
Moises Alou, 8th inning?
And denied the Cubs a trip to the World Series?
You don't remember this?
It's ringing a bell. Smells great in here.
Em is making pork tenderloin. You eat pork, don't you?
Every chance he gets.
I gotta make up for all the lost years. Could I use your restroom?
Down the hall on the left.
Right, got it.
What are you drinking?
You have scotch?
Still have that bottle of Macallan you got me.
I expect more from you, Amir.
We'll finish it tonight. On the rocks.
Neat.
Oh, you're not kidding around.
You hear about Sarah?
What about her?
She got her terrier back.
How?
She hired a dog investigator who kidnapped it back from Frank.
Lord.
Frank's gonna sue her.
On what grounds?
Just to make her life miserable.
2 of them?
Tell me about it. She and I ran into Frank at the courthouse.
Oh, you were in court today.
Proctor insurance arbitration.
How'd it go?
Fine. We're just dancing around the number now. They have to pay and they know it. They just need a little time to get used to the idea.
Was Mort there?
Steven took it over. He has me on it now.
But Proctor's Mort's.
Was.
Why is that not a surprise?
Mort couldn't be bothered, rather be meditating.
Yeah, instead of taking his Lipitor.
You know, he took me to lunch and tried to teach me to meditate. I actually tried it a couple of times, ended up gaining 5 pounds. Kept thinking about food. I'd get frustrated, give up, and pig out.
What's up with that offer from Credit Suisse?
I'm not going to do it.
Didn't they come back with another 200,000?
They did.
I told you that move would work.
You were right.
I don't think you'll get more.
The partners are countering.
Of course they are. I doubt it's 200 more.
I've put down roots.
Kapoor, Brathwaite,
What?
you and me, on our own, in business. Stephen and Mort got ahead by underpricing the competition back in the day when they were starting out.
Well, downtown wasps didn't want to be doing mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah, fine. That's why Jews were doing it. Then, mergers and acquisitions became all the rage, and guys like Stephen and Mort became the establishment. We are the new Jews.
Okay.
We go about this the right way, we will get to where LBH is now in a quarter the time it took them.
You coming up with this on the fly?
That firm will never be ours. It's theirs. And they are always going to remind us that we were just invited to the party.
I don't think it's a bad idea. Amir.
Who's reading this? Sorry, am I interrupting?
Well,
Just talking shop.
I'm so sorry. Nice to see you.
nice to see you too.
Hi, Em.
Hi, Isaac.
I'm sorry, I thought you said 7.
Look, as long as you don't mind waiting for dinner.
Honey, they got cupcakes from Magnolia.
Banana pudding, actually.
Oh my God, I love that stuff.
It's like crack.
You want something to drink, Isaac?
Scotch would be great. On the rocks.
Okay, honey?
Port.
Port, before dinner.
I know I'm strange. I just love it so much.
So who's reading Denial of Death?
I am, since you suggested it.
She has been raving about it.
The only reason people remember this anymore is because it's the book Woody Allen gives to Diane Keaton on their first date in Annie Hall and tells her, this is everything you need to know about me.
Denial of Death.
You should have given me a heads up too.
You think? It's an amazing book. I actually got the title for my new show from here.
What's the title?
The title? Well, first let me say, it's been generations and generations of consumerism and cynicism.
Get comfortable.
And an art market that just feeds the frenzy. But something's shifting. There's a movement of young artists who are not buying into it anymore. They're asking the question, how to make art sacred again. It's an impossibly heroic task they've set for themselves, which is why I'm calling it Impossible Heroes. She doesn't like it.
It sounds like a segment on Anderson Cooper 360.
About Paralympic athletes.
The Impossible Hero.
Very funny. How about you, Em? What do you think of the title? After all, it's your show now, too.
You're kidding?
The work you're doing with the Islamic tradition is important and new. It needs to be seen widely.
Isaac, that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations,
Mazel
Emily.
That is
thank
incredible.
you.
I am so proud of you, honey.
A toast is in order
To your show, and to Emily in your show.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, how many
What?
of her paintings?
That's my husband, always talking numbers.
I've got room for 4 or 5.
5. That sounds great.
I definitely want that one. The couple I saw in the studio, and I've been thinking about the study after Velázquez's more, but I'm not sure.
More. Haven't heard that word in a minute.
I did a portrait of Amir a few months ago after an episode we had. I had just been to the Met and seen the Velázquez painting.
Which one?
A portrait of Juan de Pareja, who just happened to be of Moorish descent.
It might be the finest painting at the Met. Those dots of white at the top of his eyes.
Here, this is the original portrait.
Oh, of course.
It's a study after the Velázquez. I'm using the same palette, same composition, but it's a portrait of Amir.
Your very own personal Moor.
Muse is more like it.
I think I'd rather stick with the abstract pieces, keep the impression of your work consolidated. But I'm tempted. I mean, it's a stunning portrait. Quite a tribute to you, Amir, if you ask me.
You think?
Well, standing there in your black suit, silver cufflinks, perfectly pressed lily-white dress shirt, which is so magnificently rendered. You can almost smell the starch off of the shirt.
Not starch, Isaac. Just ridiculous thread count.
People do not stop talking about your shirts at the office.
Really?
Sarah was joking, you must spend half what you make on shirts.
I wouldn't be far from the truth. Charvet, always.
How much do those run?
$600.
Dollars?
So there you are in your $600 Charvet shirt, like Velázquez's brilliant apprentice slave in his lace collar, adorned in the splendors of the world you're now so clearly a part of. And yet,
Yeah?
the question remains
The question.
of your place. Well, not you, of course. It's for the viewer. After all, it's a painting.
I like the stuff she was doing before.
The landscapes? Not a huge fan.
Isaac.
Well, what? She knows that. I think it's smart she moved on. It's not as fertile a direction for her.
I think the landscapes are very fertile.
Amir,
What?
we both know why you like the landscapes.
Why?
Because they have nothing to do with Islam.
Oh, what she's doing with the Islamic tradition has taken her to another level. A young Western painter drawing on Islamic representation, not ironically, but in service. It's an unusual and remarkable statement.
What's the statement?
Islam is rich and universal, part of a spiritual and artistic heritage we can all draw from. What was that thing you said in London at the Frieze Art Fair about humility and the Renaissance?
Right. The Renaissance is when we turned away from something bigger than ourselves. It put the individual at the center of the universe and made a cult out of the personal ego.
God, I love that.
That never happened in the Islamic tradition. It's still more connected to a wider, less personal perspective.
I'm using that in the catalog.
Stop it.
I'm serious.
You know, that's the same thing Michelle Bachmann says. That the Renaissance is when it all went wrong because that's when we turned away from God.
Amir, I'm not Michelle Bachmann.
Nope, of course not.
You've got a major career ahead of you. I'm just one of the first to get to the party. Emily Hughes Kapoor, a name to be contended with.
Here, here.
Kapoor.
What?
I don't know. I've always wondered what kind of name that was.
Indian. Why are you asking?
Did I say something wrong?
Stephen came into the office today and asked me the same thing.
He did.
You know, it's a pretty common Punjabi name.
Oh, I'm headed to Delhi day after tomorrow. That's in Punjab, isn't it?
Not really, but same country, so why not?
What are you doing in Delhi, Isaac?
Sathi Sikander has deigned to offer me a studio visit.
How exciting. I love his work. You going too?
Ezra has school.
Jory's being polite. It's not because Ezra has school.
No?
I have a little bit of an issue when it comes to flying.
That's one way of putting it.
I hate flying. It's a primal thing. The thought of not being on the ground opens up this door to like every fear I have.
Panic attacks.
I'm not at my best, and the hysteria around security only makes it worse.
It's a nightmare at the airport.
And now there's a whole new attraction. You get to decide between being ogled over or felt up.
Oh, felt up, definitely.
Why is that not a surprise?
It actually calms me down. What's it like for you?
What?
Security at airports. I mean, you hear stories.
I wouldn't know. I cut right to the chase.
He volunteers himself. He goes right to the agents and offers himself up.
What? To be searched?
I know they're looking at me. So I figure, why not make it easier for everyone involved?
Never heard of anyone doing that before.
On top of people being more and more afraid of folks who look like me, we end up being resented too.
Those agents are working hard not to discriminate. Then here's this guy who comes up to them and calls them out.
Pure, unmitigated, passive aggression. That's what my wife thinks.
Maybe she's got a point.
I think it's kind of admirable, Amir. If everyone was so forthcoming, the world would be a very different place.
It's racial profiling.
Honey, I know what it is.
Well, I can't imagine you'd like it if it was you.
It's not her. That's the point.
And it's probably not some Kansas grandmother in a wheelchair.
The next terrorist attack is probably going to come from some guy who more or less looks like me.
I totally disagree. The next attack is coming from some white guy who's got a gun he shouldn't have.
And pointing it at a guy who more or less looks like me.
Not necessarily.
Look, if every person of Middle Eastern descent started doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
I mean, if we all got used to that kind of compliance, we might actually start getting a little too comfortable about our suspicions.
So you do have suspicions.
I mean, not me. I'm just saying.
Look, hell, I don't blame you.
Wait, what?
That was Abe.
What's he calling you about?
Did he call you and you not call him back?
Yeah, a couple times.
So he's calling me now. You gotta work on that, honey.
Another port?
You guys hungry?
Getting there.
I'm starting us with a fennel salad. Do you eat anchovies?
Love them, and I love fennel.
Her fennel anchovy salad is a classic. A fucking classic.
See, honey, an exemplary instance of spousal support. He never compliments me on my cooking.
I do most of the cooking.
Because you don't show me any love when I do.
Cooking is not your strongest suit.
I can't believe you just said that.
You don't have to eat what she cooks.
Ezra loves my cooking.
Your Kraft macaroni and cheese.
And my Swiss Miss hot chocolate.
Look, you make a good omelet.
I haven't made an omelet in ages.
Might be the best thing about them.
Oh, I am not listening to any more of this.
Would you like some help?
Thank you, Jory. I would love some.
Just keep her away from the ingredients. So, I'm sorry if I brought up something sensitive.
Sensitive?
Between you and Emily, I mean, about the paintings?
You didn't.
Oh.
It's not a secret. Em and I don't see eye to eye on Islam. I happen to think it is a backward way of thinking and being.
You don't think that's maybe a little broad? I mean, it happens to be one of the world's great spiritual traditions.
Let me guess. You're reading Rumi.
Amir. Actually, yes, I have been reading Rumi. And he's great, but that's not what I'm talking about. Do you know Hanif Saeed?
I don't.
He's a sculptor. He's Muslim. He's devout. His work is an amazing testimony to the power of faith. He carves these monolithic pillar-like forms.
Have you read the Quran, Isaac?
I haven't.
When it comes to Islam, monolithic pillar-like forms don't matter. And paintings don't matter. Only the Quran matters.
Paintings don't matter.
I didn't mean it like that.
How did you mean it?
Honey, you are aware of what the Prophet had to say about them.
I am, Amir.
What did he say?
He used to say that angels don't enter a house where there are pictures and/or dogs.
What's wrong with dogs?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, every religion's got idiosyncrasies. My ancestors didn't like lobster. I mean, who doesn't like lobster? What's your point?
My point is that what a few artists are doing, however wonderful, does not reflect the Muslim psyche.
Muslim psyche.
Islam comes from the desert, from a group of tough-minded, tough-living people who saw life as something hard and relentless, something to be suffered.
Not the only people to have suffered in a desert for centuries, Amir. I don't know what it says about the Jewish psyche, if that's the word we're going to use.
Desert pain. I can work with that. Jews reacted to the situation differently. They turned it over and over and over. Look at the Talmud. They are looking at things from 100 different angles, trying to negotiate with it, make it easier, more livable.
Find new ways to complain about it.
Whatever they do, it is not what Muslims do. Muslims don't think about it. They submit. That's what Islam means, by the way. Submission.
I know what it means.
Guys, salad?
Look, the problem isn't Islam. It's Islamofascism.
I'm starving.
You got that from Martin Amis, right?
Christopher Hitchens, too. They're not wrong about that.
So you haven't read the Quran, but you've read a couple of sanctimonious British bullies, and you think you know something about Islam?
Amir.
What? That's not fair game? If he's going to offer it as a counter, it's fair game.
He has a point. I need to read the Quran.
And then get back to me.
Do you want fresh pepper?
I had to read some of the Quran in college, What I remember is the anger.
Thank you. It is like one very long hate mail letter to humanity.
That's not true. Pepper, Jory?
It is kind of. Grant me that at least.
I'll grant you that the Quran sees humanity as stubborn and self-interested, and it takes us to task for that. And I can't say that it's wrong to do so.
All I was trying to say with Islamofascism is that there's a difference between the religion and the political use of it.
Isaac, in Islam, there is no difference. There is no distinction between church and state.
Don't you mean mosque and state?
I do. Thank you. I'm assuming we're all opposed to people who treat the Bible like it's the Constitution.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
This is so good.
Did I tell you or did I tell you?
It's so easy. You slice everything up.
Fennel, peppers, celery.
Carrots, radishes.
What are these?
Baby artichokes.
Adorable.
What gets me just as much as people who treat the Bible like the Constitution are the people who treat the Constitution like it's the Bible. I mean, trying to figure out what a text written more than 200 years ago really meant, like it's going to solve our problems today.
Like all that bullshit about the right to bear arms. It was 1791, people.
That's my point. That's exactly what I'm saying.
This is delicious, Em. Really.
I picked up the recipe when I was on a Fulbright in Seville.
I love Spain. I ran with the bulls in Pamplona.
You did not run with the bulls.
I watched people run with the bulls. It was thrilling.
We went to Barcelona for our honeymoon. The chorizo, the paella, the wine. Spanish wines are so underrated.
See, this is the problem I'm having. You're saying Muslims are so different. You're not that different. Paella, Spanish wines, you have the same idea of the good life as I do. I mean, I wouldn't have even known you were a Muslim if it wasn't for that article in the Times.
I'm not Muslim. I am an apostate, which means that I have
I
renounced
know what
my
that
faith.
means.
Oh,
Isaac.
good. Well, then did you also know, according to the Quran, that makes me punishable by death?
That's not true, Amir.
Yes, it is.
Have you even read that part? Have you? It condemns renouncing the faith, but it doesn't specify punishment. The tradition has interpreted it as punishable by death.
Impressive.
He's repeated it enough, I actually checked. I have a vested interest, after all.
Fine. Let's talk about something that is in the text. Wife beating.
Wife beating.
Great. Could you pass the bread?
Amir, really?
So, the angel Gabriel comes down to Muhammad.
Angel Gabriel?
Yeah, that's how Muslims believe the Quran came to humanity. The angel Gabriel supposedly dictated it to Muhammad word for word.
Like Joseph Smith? Mormonism? They say an angel named Maramai came down in upstate New York and talked to Joseph Smith.
Moroni, honey, not Maramai.
You sure?
It was on South Park.
So, like I was saying, the angel Gabriel shows up and teaches Muhammad this verse. You know the one, honey. I'm paraphrasing. Men are in charge of women.
Amir.
If they don't obey, talk to them. If that doesn't work, don't sleep with them. And if that doesn't work, honey,
I'm not doing this.
beat them.
I don't remember that being in the Quran.
It's in there, all right.
The usual translation is debatable.
Only for people who want to make Islam look all warm and fuzzy.
The root verb can mean beat, but it can also mean leave. So it could be saying if your wife doesn't listen, leave her, not beat her.
Sounds like a pretty big difference.
That is not how it's been interpreted for hundreds of years.
No, see, sometimes you just have to say no. I don't blame the French
The French.
for their problem with Islam.
You're okay with them banning the veil?
You do have to draw the line somewhere.
Okay, Mrs. Kissinger.
Endearing.
Well, I'm married to a woman who has a Kissinger quote above her desk in the den.
If faced with choosing justice or order, I'll always choose order.
Why do you have that above your desk?
To remind me not to get lost in the feeling that I need to get justice. You pull yourself out of the ghetto, you realize real soon order is where it's at.
Me, justice, always.
You know what they say. If you're young and not a liberal, you've got no heart. And if you're old and not a conservative,
You got no brain.
Okay, I happen to know a few very brilliant Muslim women who choose to wear the veil.
You really enjoy playing the contrarian, don't you?
I'm not playing the contrarian.
who do you know that wears the veil?
You wouldn't know them.
I think you're making it up.
I'm not.
So who?
Khalid's sister.
Khalid.
She's a professor of philosophy at Cornell. She wears the veil.
Khalid, your trainer?
You trained at Equinox?
Yeah,
I know Khalid, balding, with the guns.
that's him.
I didn't know you trained at Equinox.
For years. Which one do you go to?
What's your point?
My My point is, Khalid may be a trainer, but he comes from a ridiculously educated Jordanian background. All the women in his family wear the veil, by choice.
It's not always what people think. It's a source of pride for a lot of Muslim women.
First of all, they are probably wearing headscarves, not the veil. It is not the same thing.
The veil is evil. You erase a face, you erase individuality. Nobody's making men erase their individuality. Why is it always coming down to making the woman pay? There is a point at which you just have to say no.
Just say no. That is what Muhammad didn't do. Here's the irony. Before becoming a prophet, he was adamant about his followers not abusing women. Then he starts talking to an angel. I mean, really?
I still can't believe I've never seen the parallel with Mormonism before.
You keep saying that like it means something.
Both religions where you can have multiple wives too, though I think Mormons are okay with dogs.
You still don't get it.
Get what? That you're full of self-loathing?
Isaac, the Quran is about tribal life in a 7th century desert. The point isn't just academic. There is a result to believing that a book written about life in a specific society 1,500 years ago is the word of God. You start wanting to recreate that society. After all, it is the only one in which the Quran makes any literal sense. That's why you have people like the Taliban. They are trying to recreate the world in the image of the one that is in the Quran.
Honey, I think we get it.
Actually, I'm pretty sure you don't get it. Here's the kicker, and this is the real problem. It goes way deeper than the Taliban. To be Muslim, truly, means not only you believe all of this stuff, it means you fight for it too. Politics follows faith. No distinction between mosque and state. Remember all that? So, if the point is that the world in the Quran was a better place than this world, well then, let's go back. Let's stone adulterers. Let's cut off the hands of thieves. Let's kill the unbelievers. And so, even if you're one of those lapsed Muslims, sipping your after-dinner scotch alongside your beautiful white American wife, watching the news and seeing folks in the Middle East dying for values that you were taught were purer and stricter and truer, you can't help but feel just a little bit of pride.
Pride?
Yes, pride.
Did you feel pride on September 11th?
If I'm honest, yes.
Amir, you don't really mean that.
I was horrified by it, all right? Absolutely horrified.
Pride about what? About the towers coming down, about people getting killed?
That we were finally winning.
We?
Yeah. You see? I forgot which we I was.
You're an American.
It's tribal, Jor. It is in the bones. You have no idea how I was brought up. You have to work real hard to root that shit out.
Well, you need to keep working.
I am. What?
That's enough. I'm gonna go make you some coffee.
What? Look. I'm sure it's not all that different than how you feel about Israel sometimes.
Excuse me?
Are you telling me you've never felt anything like that? An unexpected blush of pride, say?
Blush? I don't feel anything like a blush.
When you hear about Israel throwing its military weight around?
I'm critical of Israel. A lot of Jews are.
And when you hear about Ahmadinejad talking about wiping Israel into the Mediterranean, how do you feel then?
Outraged, like anybody else.
Not everyone feels outraged. A lot of folks like hearing that.
You like hearing that?
I said a lot of folks.
I asked you if you like hearing it. Do you like hearing about Israel getting wiped into the ocean?
Isaac.
What? I want to know.
Sometimes, yes.
Amir, we are supposed to be celebrating.
And I'm saying that it's wrong and that it comes from somewhere. And that somewhere is Islam.
No shit, it's wrong. But it doesn't come from Islam. It comes from you. And Islam has no monopoly on fundamentalism. It doesn't come from a text.
You don't need to patronize me.
You've been patronizing me this whole conversation. I think you can bear with being patronized just a little bit. You don't like organized religion? Fine. You have a particular antipathy for the one you were born into. Fine. Maybe you feel a little more strongly about it than most of us because whatever. Fine.
Isaac.
But I am not interested in your absurd and frankly more than a little terrifying generalization.
Isaac.
What?
Stop it.
Okay.
You're naive.
I'm naive.
Amir, can I see you for a minute?
Naive and well-meaning. And you are on a collision course with history. What? What?
What a fucking asshole.
He's the asshole?
Did you hear him?
What's gotten into you?
Fucking closet jihadist.
Will you shut up?
I will never understand what you see in this guy.
Something's off tonight. I think maybe he knows about me.
How would he?
He's mentioned Stephen a few times. I don't know. Maybe Mort told him?
Well, he's going to find out sooner or later.
I wanted to be the one to tell him. I owe him that much.
Then you should have told him when it happened.
I'm under confidentiality.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, honey.
I think I need to tell him.
You come over here with good news, we should be celebrating. It's Emily's night. I'm gonna go out and get us some champagne.
I'm gonna come with you. Is that okay?
Of course.
Champagne.
And then we're gonna have a wonderful evening.
Do you think I don't know what you're doing?
What am I doing?
Isaac, please.
He's a big boy. He can't handle some pushback? What, you guys get into an argument before we showed up?
Why would we get into an argument?
You're married.
I don't have the marriage you do. You could have told me about the show over the phone.
I wanted to tell you face to face.
Isaac, London was a mistake.
I don't think you really believe that.
This is my home.
You're in the show now, so that's it?
If that's why you're putting me in the show,
Of course not. God, the whole idea for the show came from you.
Isaac, when they get back, you need to leave.
I had no idea your husband was such a mess and a fucking alcoholic to boot.
He's not an alcoholic. He had a bad day at the office.
Oh, so he knows.
Knows?
About Jory.
What about Jory?
They're making her partner.
Wait, what?
They offered her a partnership. Name on the firm. They're counter to the offer she got from Credit Suisse.
When did this happen?
Last week?
Nobody told Amir.
Well, Jory's telling him right now.
I don't understand.
There's not a lot to understand. They like her. They don't like him.
Mort's like his father.
Mort doesn't wear the pants. Stephen does.
Amir has been there twice as long as she has.
Well, there was that whole thing.
What?
With the imam that Amir represented?
He didn't represent him.
That's not what the Times said.
He went to a hearing.
The paper mentioned the firm, and they mentioned Amir, and it looked like he was representing a man who was raising money for terrorists.
But that's absurd.
That's not what Stephen thought. He went ballistic.
What are you talking about?
Don't you know this? Jory said your husband broke down, was crying at a staff meeting, and apparently shouted something about how if the imam had been a rabbi, Stephen wouldn't have cared. Stephen thought the comment was anti-Semitic.
I'm sorry, but sometimes you people have a problem.
We people?
Jews, you see anti-Semitism everywhere.
You're married to a man who feels a blush when Ahmadinejad talks about wiping Jews into the ocean. Stephen is a huge fundraiser for Netanyahu. I have no idea why Amir would go anywhere near a guy like that imam.
For me. Oh, God. He did it for me.
He doesn't understand you. He can't understand you. He puts you on a pedestal. It's in your painting. Study after Velázquez. He's looking out at the viewer. That viewer is you. You painted it. He's looking at you. That expression on that face, shame, anger, pride. Yeah, the pride he was talking about. The slave finally has the master's wife.
You're disgusting.
It's the truth, Em, and you know it. You painted it. If what happened that night in London was a mistake, Em, it's not the last time you're going to make it. A man like that, you will cheat on him again. Maybe not with me, but you will.
Isaac.
And then one day, you'll leave him. Em, I'm in love with you.
Isaac, we need to get out of here.
Honey.
What the fuck is going on here?
You wait a week to tell me this? And the second I say something that you don't like hearing, you walk out of me in mid-fucking sentence? Who are you? What? What?
Are you having an affair with my husband?
Excuse me?
Nobody's having an affair.
I walked in here and they were kissing.
Well, that is not true. Amir, that's not true.
They were kissing there.
That's not what was happening.
I know what I saw.
Now, Isaac told me about them making you partner. Now, I know how much longer Amir has been there than you. I was upset. I was crying.
I was consoling her.
By kissing her.
We weren't kissing.
Why do you keep saying that?
Are you having an affair with her? Tell me the truth.
Honey, I already said nobody's having an affair.
So what the fuck were you doing when I walked in here?
I was hugging her because she was crying.
Don't touch me, Isaac.
I was upset that they made you partner. I know how much longer Amir has been there. I was crying.
First you steal my job. Now you try to destroy my marriage? You are fucking evil. After everything that I have done for you?
I know what I saw.
Do you have any idea how much of myself I have poured into that place? That closet at the end of the hall where they keep the cleaning supplies, that was my first office. Yours had a view of the fucking park. Your first 3 years, were you ever at work before anyone else? Were you ever the last to leave? Because if you were, I never saw it. I still leave that office after you. You think you're the nigger here?
Wow.
I'm the nigger.
You know what?
You don't need to listen to any more out of this asshole.
You're the asshole.
Oh, you better shut your mouth, buddy.
Or what?
Or I'll knock you on your fucking ass.
Try me.
Get off me, Isaac.
There's a reason they call you people animals.
Get out.
There's something you should know. Your dear friend Mort is retiring. And guess who's taking over his caseload? Not you. Me. I asked him, why not Amir? He said something about you being duplicitous, that it's why you're such a good litigator, but that it's impossible to trust you. Don't believe me? Call Mort. Ask him yourself. Let me guess. He hasn't been taking your calls?
Have you lost your fucking mind? Amir.
She's right. Mort hasn't been taking my calls.
I'm gonna get you that coffee.
Em? Are you sleeping with him?
It was in London. When I was at Freeze, we were drinking at... it's not an excuse, it's just... We had just been to the Victoria and Albert. He was talking about my work. Amir, I am so disgusted with myself. If I could take it back.
Oh my God.
Em?
Em,
Can we come in?
of course. What's going on here? Is everything all right? Huss? Em, what's going on?
He's been coming to me. You're a lawyer. You can help him. Tell him.
He's not gonna understand.
He got stopped by the FBI.
What?
I didn't get stopped.
What happened?
All I was doing was sitting in a Starbucks.
With your friend, Tariq?
Is that the one your mom
My
keeps telling
parents
you?
are wrong about him.
Okay.
We were at Starbucks just drinking coffee. Tariq starts talking to this barista who's on break. I can tell she's not into him, but he's not getting the message. She starts asking about our kufi hats and are we Muslims, and then she asks us how we feel about Al-Qaeda. So Tariq tells her, Americans are the ones who created Al-Qaeda.
Okay.
You don't believe me?
No.
The CIA trained the Mujahideen in Afghanistan. Those are the guys that became Al-Qaeda.
It's a little more complicated than that.
Actually, it's not, Uncle. Not really.
So what happened?
So she got snippy, and Tariq got pissed, and he told her that this country deserved what it got and what it was going to get. She goes back to work, and before we know it, the police are there. She called them. They cuff us, take us in. 2 guys from the FBI are at the station waiting. We sit through this ridiculous interrogation.
What did they ask you?
Oh, do we believe in jihad? Do we want to blow stuff up? How often do I read the Koran? Do we
Okay.
have girlfriends? Have I ever had sex? Do I watch porn? Do I hate America? And they knew a lot about me. Where I'd gone to school, about mom and dad, where they were born. It's like they already had a file. They brought up my immigration status.
What about it?
It's up for renewal.
And when they said that,
He laughed.
You laughed?
I didn't mean to. It just happened.
Were you trying to antagonize them?
No. I mean, look, I know what they're doing.
What are they doing?
They're going into our community, looking for people whose immigration status is vulnerable, and then they push us to start doing stuff for them.
Okay.
Oh, what, you don't believe that either?
No, I didn't say that.
Look, I can't. You just needed to talk to him.
Aunt Emily, stay, please.
I'm gonna go get some air.
Is she okay?
I do not want to talk about that. Who are you calling? You can't call Mom. She's going to freak out.
I'm calling Ken,
Ken.
the lawyer on Imam Fareed's case.
Why? He screwed things up. The Imam is still in prison.
Yeah, well, Ken will have a better idea of what to do. Hi, Ken, it's Amir Kapoor. Can you call me as soon as you get this? It's urgent. Thank you. When you step outside of your parents' house, you need to understand that it is not a neutral world out there. Not right now. Not for you. You need to be mindful about sending a different message.
Then what?
Than the one that landed you in an interrogation with the FBI.
So now what?
Let's see what Ken has to say. I mean, it's not good, but at least they let you go.
You know, if he tells me that I have to go into our mosque and pretend I'm planning some bullshit attack just to stay in this country.
You don't know that's what's going to happen.
Oh, if you spend any time with your own people.
Excuse me?
What would you do? If the FBI asked you to work for them,
You are not there yet.
What would you do?
There are ways to let the authorities know that you are on their side.
But I'm not on their side.
Well, you might want to rethink that because they make the rules.
I knew this was a mistake.
No, it is not a mistake. If you are not more careful about this, you will get deported.
Yeah? Well, maybe that wouldn't be the worst thing.
To a country you haven't known since you were 8 years old.
Okay, so maybe that's the problem. Maybe we never should have left. Maybe we never should have come to this one.
There is a reason your father came here. It's the same reason my father did. They wanted to build a better life for themselves and for their families and to do it honestly, which is not an option in Pakistan.
You don't have a better life.
What are you talking about?
Look, I know you have to leave this apartment. I know you were fired.
I don't know what you think you know.
I know what you did to her. How could you?
I don't know.
You want something from these people you will never get.
I am still your elder. You need to show me a little respect.
Just because I'm telling you the truth doesn't mean I'm not showing you respect. You forgot who you are.
Really? Abe Jensen?
I changed it back, man.
Oh, so now you think running around with a kufi on your head, shooting your mouth off in Starbucks?
Oh my God.
Sitting in a mosque bemoaning the plight of Muslims around the world?
It is disgusting. The one thing I can be sure about with you, you'll always turn on your own people. And you think it makes these people like you more when you do that? They don't. They just think you hate yourself. And they're right, you do. I looked up to you. You have no idea. No, you have no idea what it did to me.
I mean, if you can't make it with them, then the prophet wouldn't be trying to be like one of them. He didn't conquer the world by copying other people. He made the world copy him.
Conquer the world?
Yeah, that's what they've done! They've conquered the world! And we're gonna get it back! That's our destiny! It's in the Quran. For 300 years, they've been taking our land, drawing new borders, replacing our laws, making us wanna be like them, look like them, marry their women. They disgraced us! They disgraced us! And then they pretend they don't understand the rage we've got! Emily, I'm sorry.
Hussein?
I'll handle it myself, Uncle.
No, Hussein. My sister's been telling me about him.
Your family needs you.
Are you reading my letters?
Amir.
Look, I told your lawyer I wanted you to have the apartment. I wrote you that. I just don't know
The
if you...
apartment's not mine.
I got the painting.
It's the portrait. I didn't want to throw it out.
If you hate me so much, why did you drop the charges?
I don't hate you, Amir.
I saw the write-up in the New Yorker. I was proud of you.
Oh.
I don't know if you've been reading any of my letters, but there's a lot you're right about me. I'm finally seeing what you're seeing. I'm finally understanding your work.
My work was naive.
No, it wasn't. Why are you saying that?
Because it's true.
God, Em. If you knew how sorry I am.
I know. I had a part in what happened.
Em, no.
It's true. I was selfish. My work, it made me blind.
I just want you to be proud of me.
Amir, stop.
I want you to be proud that you were with me.
Goodbye. Please, don't write me anymore.
This is LA TheatreWorks' production of Disgraced by Ayad Akhtar, directed by Brian Kite, starring in alphabetical order Jeffrey Arend as Isaac, Behzad Dabu as Abe, Hari Dillon as Amir, Samira Lukman Harris as Jory, and Emily Swallow as Emily. Sound effects artist Aaron Lyons, production manager Rick V. Moreno, music supervisor Ron Lipkin, original music by Mark Holden and Michael Lopez, associate artistic director Annalise Erickson, editor Julian Nicholson, recording engineer, sound designer, and mixer Mark Holden for the Invisible Studios, West Hollywood. You'll find Disgraced and hundreds of other audio plays at latw.org. I'm Susan Lowenberg, producing director of LA Theatre Works. Coming up next, we'll hear very different points of view about Disgraced from a panel of experts. Because of the controversial nature of Disgraced's portrayal of Islamic Americans, LA Theatre Works held panel discussions following performances in Los Angeles in April 2018. We heard a remarkable range of opinions about the play from our distinguished guests. Shafika Ahmadi is an associate professor of clinical education at the Rossier School of Education and co-director of the Center for Education, Identity, and Social Justice at USC. Sue Obidi is the director of the Muslim Public Affairs Council's Hollywood Bureau. She works with studio executives, producers, directors, and writers to create authentic, accurate, and humanizing portrayals of Islam and of Muslims in film, television, and on digital platforms. Rabbi Sarah Bassin is an associate rabbi at Temple Emmanuel of Beverly Hills. Prior to joining Temple Emmanuel, Rabbi Bassin served as executive director of LA-based New Ground, a Muslim-Jewish partnership for change. Dr. Mo Shuka is a member of the Abraham Society, whose broad mission is to foster relationships of trust, understanding, and mutual interest among individuals residing in Southern California who are of Jewish, Muslim, and Christian backgrounds. M.L. Tennis is also a member of the Abraham Society. Before moving to the U.S., she was a leading journalist in Turkey and was awarded Best Journalist of the Year by the Turkish Journalists Association for her interview with Benazir Bhutto, former Prime Minister of Pakistan. I'd like to begin by asking each of you about your own first impressions of Disgraced. What were your thoughts upon seeing it for the first time, and what kinds of questions did the play raise for you? Shafika?
I thought it was very interesting. So the play is interesting. It's well written. Unfortunately, it is pretty problematic. It's very, and actually in the play, the word Orientalist comes up too. So what's interesting is that if we had other plays or in the media, in movies, in theater, on TV shows, other characters, strong Muslim characters that are from a positive perspective, we could certainly reconcile that and say, oh, Muslims are not just put in this monolithic little box that we have as these are all Muslims are the same, right? So regardless of how much Amir in this play has assimilated, has given up his religion, has done so many things to become part of this culture, part of this country, right? Regardless of how much he has tried, at the end, he still goes back to his tribe, right? It's a very tribal identity that's portrayed. That's really, it's again, it's not checked. It's not very nuanced. It's not, questioned, right? So as an academic, I love talking about these issues, to be able to talk about it as well as to be able to hear different perspectives. And unfortunately, in this play, that was not provided. It's very, you are eventually going to go back to where you came from. You're still going to be uncivilized, regardless of how much you have given up and how much you have assimilated and how much money you have, how much education and Western education in this country that you have received. So unfortunately, there's not much room for most Muslims that come from various perspectives. Now, let's even think about the fact that Muslims come from how many different countries? We're very diverse linguistically. We're extremely diverse traditionally, culturally, as well as, religiously. And none of that was presented because at the end of the day, if you're Muslim, you're still going to be Muslim and you still may not like the Western ideals. It pretty much reminds me of Samuel Huntington's work of The Clash of Civilizations, that regardless of how much Muslims try, they're not going to be civilized. And the Muslim ideal or the Orient that the Orientalists talk about it's still the same today.
Rabbi Bassem?
So first of all, as a rabbi, I'm clearly not a Muslim. So I can come at this from the perspective of knowing a lot of Muslims and the communal work that I've done, but not from speaking of firsthand experience. I can speak as a minority, and some of the themes that really stuck out to me from the play were about the burden imposed on the Muslim characters of representing, even when they didn't identify, even when they didn't want to, that was just the public perception of who they were, and thus there was a burden on them that they were representing the entirety of their background, their people in that moment. And I think that that's something a lot of minorities in the United States can relate to. I thought the theme about taking on the identity of the other was really interesting, that you saw with Emily and her interest around Islam, that you saw with Amir, right, of wanting to assimilate and to blend in and to shed his heritage, and then of Abe Hussein, right, of going back and forth between the two, and I think that's something a lot of minorities navigate as well. And then the third, and I think this is the most salient for me right now at this particular historic moment, is the idea of scratching beneath the surface, and what happens when you get beyond that initial layer of polite conversation after a couple of scotches, and revealing those prejudices that all of us carry about the other, and how those can surface in ways that are really problematic when we don't have constructive forums to talk about it.
Sue?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for the invitation to LA Theater Works, to Devin and you, Susan. I heard a lot about the play before I saw the play. My co-workers, Aziza Hassan and Nadina Lekovich, actually participated in these talkbacks about 3 years ago. And I heard that the play was very problematic, that it was very engaging, well performed, but a little bit problematic. And I was very eager to see it and read it when you sent me the script. And I totally agreed that, it was very engaging, but it wasn't as nuanced as I would have hoped it would have been. There were some lines and some scenes that were very difficult to watch and listen to and read when I read the play. A lot of the inaccuracies about Islam went unchecked.
For example?
For example, just off the top of my head, the issue of taqiyya, which is denying your faith, is in the Quran, but it's only an exception in persecution. So someone who, is being persecuted, tortured, and has to denies their faith, there is an exception where it is okay, but that's under circumstances that are not innate to someone living in Manhattan, for example. It's not an issue of assimilation. It's an issue of being persecuted. And so that is, for example, an inaccuracy that just went totally unchecked because there wasn't a Muslim character, a strong Muslim character that could kind of push back on that inaccuracy. Another one is the apostate dialogue, where if someone leaves Islam, that it's punishable by death. It's not as clear, it's not black and white as the dialogue made it seem. One who denounces their faith is not celebrated. For sure, it is looked down upon. However, there is no punishment or punishment by death associated with that. It's an issue of religious freedom and human rights. In the Quran, it says that there's no compulsion in religion, and that's true for Muslim and non-Muslim. So those are some, things that just totally just went unchecked because there was no balance. There's no Muslim character or one with a strong identification to say, no, that's not the case.
Dr. Shuka?
Yeah, I had heard that there was some concern about it being anti-Islamic or against I didn't perceive it that way. I thought it was written brilliantly, and I thought it was portrayed brilliantly. And I liked the way that they presented Amir as a human. He's a person that has his own struggles. And one of them is that he's, distancing himself from his heritage, which he has every right to do. But I was thinking that the reason for that is the reason he would walk away from anything, it's maybe the premise and the way that he learned about Islam, in that there was prejudice and bias in that premise, and there was a loss of humanity. Like when his mom found out about his crush, how she reacted to it. He had the crush on the Jewish girl, and how he, in turn, reacted to it, which is, they lost their humanity in that. And I don't think any of the major religions preach that loss of humanity. And that's why it becomes easy to distance yourself from any philosophy that does that.
ML, your thoughts?
It was very brave, very bold, exciting, and I am very happy to have this kind of play in the United States of America, and people can talk about this kind of subjects. It wasn't very easy to talk about it before, so I am very happy to see that on the stage, that people can talk about this. And especially, I cannot relate, but I can understand Amir very well, because I am Muslim. And there are so many people around me, like going through those kind of like dealing with inner self and their individual identity. It is difficult to be immigrant and being Muslim, especially after September 11. I was in my tennis club. I was playing with those people like for so many years. And they start making joke to me like, Emel, what is in your backpack? Your tennis bag or your bomb bag? Like, first I was laughing, smiling, tried to be like nice, and then a couple days later I couldn't handle that.